Minimum wage is an important issue for the American people. The vast majority of Americans support raising the minimum wage for obvious reasons. The vast majority of small businesses. There was a press event held earlier today where 1,000 businesses around the country in every state said they want minimum wage raised. Why? Because it's good for business. All we're asking is that we are allowed to get on the bill. The Republicans use all kinds of procedural excuses to not allow us to get on the bill. But let's get on the bill. And that's what we're trying to do. This minimum wage affects tens of millions of Americans. They're not a bunch of kids. They're, as we've learned from polling and other studies done, the average age of someone minimum wage is 35. Questions?
Senator Reid, do you plan to hold a vote on the Keystone Pipeline next week?
I'm working on that now. I talked about it at the caucus. I met with Landrieu and Hoeven and Portman the last 24 hours, trying to work something out.
So would you say it's likely that you will vote on that next week, or what's the
I'm
prognosis?
trying to work something out. I hope so. But they keep moving the ball. We originally it was going to be a sense of the Senate. Now they can't decide on what they want to vote on, so I can't agree to something that I don't know what it is.
Senator Collins and Senator Corker say that they would vote cloture on motion to proceed tomorrow with minimum wage if you allow amendments. Will you allow Republican amendments on this bill?
This is what we always hear. Let's get on the bill if we get on the bill, I'm happy to try to work something out. But this is all we want to do is get on the bill. I'm not going to be having all these phantom offers made. Let's get on the bill. I'll be happy to talk to Senator Collins and who else? I'll be happy to talk to them. But let's get on the bill first.
On Keystone, sir, are you open to having a vote on Keystone if it's binding legislation?
I just said, originally it was supposed to be a sense to the Senate. Now they say that they want it an up or down on a piece of legislation. They can't decide what it is.
Well, are you open to that, though, or are you only open to a sense of the Senate?
I'm open to anything that will move energy efficiency.
Senator, do you have a timeline for a tax extenders bill to come to the Senate floor?
Yeah, we're going to try to do it this work period. Senator Wyden reported to the caucus today, and I hope that we can do that.
Senator, on the housing bill, the Senate Bank was unable to get it through with broad Democratic support. Would you support that bill if it was brought to the floor?
I talked to Senator Johnson, Chairman Johnson today. He's trying to get something out of the committee. And to be honest with you, I'm not an expert on Fannie and Freddie, especially with all the suggested changes. So I'm not committing to anything. I'll be happy to have an open mind. Excuse me. Allergies are very tough on me.
Senator Reid, what is your response to Speaker Boehner saying last week, telling his constituents last week that his own members were sort of skittish about moving on immigration, and today saying it's actually the president's fault that he didn't really mean what he said?
So does he know what he mean? Does he know what he said?
I know what he said.
What did he say?
He said today that it's the president's fault that immigration is moving.
But that's my point. What did he say yesterday? Or,
Last week he said that his own members didn't want to move.
and he also was much more castigating about his own members than what you just said. So I'm glad he's complaining about his members for a change, and I don't have to.
Senator Reid, now that Senator Leahy has said that he would like to stop aid to Egypt, would you give Rand Paul a vote on his long-sought bill to block military aid to Egypt?
I'd be happy to talk to Rand Paul. He hasn't talked to me about that for months.
Senator Reid, do you have a thought as to what the BLM needs to do at this point to bring an end to the Bundy standoff? Do you think the Senate needs to look at that at all as far as how it was conducted a couple of weeks ago?
I've spoken to the Attorney General. I've spoken to the Director of the FBI. I've spoken to the Secretary of Interior and others, and they're going to move forward. We cannot have someone that openly violates the law, who believes that the United States is not a valid government, that it's a foreign government, and all the other weird things that he has said.
The BLM's come under some criticism as far as how it was conducting the roundup.
Not for me, they haven't.
Do you think the Senate should take a look at that at all?
The Senate can do whatever they want. I think the Bureau of Land Management did an outstanding job trying to enforce 2 valid federal court decrees to tell this man basically get the cattle off the land. He's decimated large tracts of land that he has no business being on. He's damaged riparian areas, hasn't paid taxes, hasn't paid fees. So what was the BLM supposed to do?
Senator, the proposed,
Each day that goes by, it's hard for me to comprehend how ugly, vile, vulgar, and threatening people are, sending letters to my home, and making other threats. So I don't know who's mad at me, but it's along the list, I guess.
Senator, the proposed purchase of Pfizer and AstraZeneca is supposed to result in several $billion worth of tax breaks. And I'm wondering what that kind of an announcement does to the cause of tax reform.
Senator Wyden today said that we're going to try to get these tax extenders done, and once they're done, he's going to move forward as quickly as possible on tax reform. And the details of that, you should talk to Ron. One more question, then I'm going to quit. I can see out there someplace. About what? I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I just repeat what I said. I can't imagine. And what also bothers me is virtually every one of these horrible things they send they cite scripture. They cite something out of the Bible. Now you try that one on. Thanks, everybody.